Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. This time, we're going to be looking at all the stuff you sent us about the Singapore housing market.
Oh, it's a fascinating one.
It is. It is. We've got, well, let's see, sales figures, market breakdowns.
Some pretty interesting expert predictions, too, I have to say.
Yeah, some crystal ball stuff.
Yeah.
So we're going to be trying to get a real handle on what's driving this market, where the action is.
Right.
And really, most importantly, what you need to know if you're thinking about getting into the market. What do you think? Anything jump out at you at first glance?
Well, it's interesting because it's not your typical hot market story. Like on the surface, things seem pretty calm, almost a bit quiet.
Right.
But when you look a little closer, there's a lot going on under the surface, a lot of energy there.
Yeah, exactly. It's like watching a pot,
Yeah.
It's simmering, and you just know it's about to boil over.
That's a good analogy. Yeah.
Right. Like, for example, new home sales, right? They jumped a crazy 60% between Q2 and Q3 of this year.
Wow.
Yeah, went from 725 units to 1,160. I mean, that's pretty strong demand.
Definitely.
But here's the thing. The prices, they haven't gone completely bonkers. Overall, you're looking at property prices up about 1.6% in the first 9 months of this year,
Okay.
which actually, if you compare that to last year, same period, it was 3.9%.
Mm-hmm.
So that is interesting.
It is interesting. So it's not just straightforward, right? High demand, prices through the roof. There's something else going on here.
Right, and that's what we need to unpack, especially if you're looking to invest.
Exactly. Got to go beyond just what the headlines are saying.
Absolutely. It's not just about the raw numbers. We've got to look at where these sales are happening, the types of properties, who's buying. There are nuances here.
So it's more than just, oh, sales are up.
Way more.
Uh,
For example, have you noticed the rise of the outside central region, the OCR?
Oh, yeah. You mean like the suburbs of Singapore? Exactly. And that's where a lot of the action is. Sales there are up a huge, like 72.7%.
Wow.
Massive jump. And even the rest of central region, that's the RCR, between the core and the suburbs, that's seen a big increase too, 70%.
So everyone wants that suburban life now.
Mm.
Is it like, are people just looking for cheaper places, or what is it?
Well, there's definitely the affordability factor. But I think it's also a lifestyle shift. People want more space, a different kind of community feel.
Yeah, I can see that. More space, a bit more relaxed, maybe.
Exactly. It's not just about the money. It's a whole different way of life.
Makes you think of that whole tale of two halves thing we saw. This year's like two different chapters in the market.
Definitely. First half, things were quiet. But now, the second half, we're expecting to see a lot more activity. New launches coming in, especially in the OCR and RCR.
Right.
Predictions are saying total new home sales for the year, maybe 5,000 to 6,000 units. But most of that's going to be in the later part of the year.
So things are going to, really pick up then. What's driving that, do you think?
It's a few things, I'd say. Interest rates are down a bit. Some policy changes have helped there. More people are moving into Singapore. And there's a lot of buzz about these new developments.
Oh, yeah, the new developments. Let's talk about those. I mean, some of them are really doing well, right? Like Cassia, that one's in the OCR, and I saw it sold, what was it, 164 units just in Q3?
Yeah, that's right, 164. And the median price was pretty good, $2,052 per square foot.
Not bad at all.
Not bad at all. And then you have Sora, another OCR development, similar story, 111 units sold, median price a little bit higher, $2,153 per square foot.
So you don't have to spend a fortune to find something good in Singapore. It's good to know.
Definitely. There are options out there. And it's not just new developments. Remember the HDB upgraders? They're making a big splash in the private market, too.
Yeah, the HDB upgraders, they're a real force now, aren't they? Up 20.1% year on year? That's a lot.
Yeah. A lot of HDB owners are feeling confident, ready to make the move.
Makes you wonder, what's behind that? Just like more money, or is there something else going on? Do they want a different lifestyle, more room for their families?
That's a great question, and it really highlights the complexity of this market.
Mm-hmm.
It's all connected, you see. HDB upgraders, they're selling their flats, which affects the HDB resale market, and then they're using that money to buy private properties.
It's like a domino effect.
Exactly. One thing leads to another.
Okay, so just to recap, we've got new home sales booming, especially in the OCR.
Right.
But overall price increases, they're not crazy.
Mm-hmm.
HDD upgraders, they're playing a huge role in all this.
Yes.
And we've got some cautious optimism overall, right?
Yeah.
Interest rates are looking good, new launches are coming, especially later this year.
Exactly.
So a lot going on. But before we get too deep into all of that, let's just pause for a second.
Okay.
What does this actually mean for you if you're listening and thinking about getting into this market? I mean, things look good, but
Yes, it's a bit of a mixed bag.
it's not as simple as just go buy now. You got to be careful.
Absolutely. You have to do your research, figure out what you can afford, what kind of risk you're comfortable with.
Right, right.
It's a big decision.
Okay, so with all that in mind, let's dive into this whole suburban living trend. Why is everyone suddenly so into the OCR? What's the deal there?
It really is a shift, I mean, for a long time, it was all about the CCR.
Right, the city center, all the action, the buzz.
Yeah, prime locations, prestigious addresses, that was the dream for a lot of people. But now...
Now it's like everyone's heading for the suburbs.
Exactly. So what's changed? Is it just about prices, or is there something more to this whole suburban living thing?
Well, I was thinking about that, and the OCR, it does have a lot to offer. More space, definitely.
The units are bigger, generally.
Yeah, and maybe a bit more of a community feel,
That's right. It's not as hectic as the city center.
more relaxed. And maybe that appeals to people now.
It could be. Especially with more people working from home. You don't necessarily need to be right downtown anymore.
Right. That's a good point. The whole work from home thing, that's changed things for a lot of people.
Absolutely. And of course, we can't forget about the price difference.
Yeah, OCR is definitely more affordable.
Oh, yeah. You get a lot more bang for your buck in the suburbs. That's a big draw for first-time buyers. Or those HDB upgraders we were talking about.
Oh, right. Speaking of them, I wanted to ask, what's their impact been like on the market as a whole? I mean, we saw those numbers. They're buying a lot of private properties. What does that mean for both the HDB market and the private market?
Well, it's kind of like a chain reaction. You see, when HDB owners upgrade, they're selling their HDB flats.
Right.
So suddenly you have more HDB flats on the market, often at pretty good prices.
So that attracts new buyers to the HDD market.
Exactly. And then those HDB upgraders, they're using the money from those sales to buy private properties.
Ah, so they're fueling the demand in the private market,
Hmm.
especially in the OCR, like we were saying.
That's right. They're looking for bigger units, more amenities, that kind of lifestyle you get in the suburbs.
It's almost like a whole new Singaporean dream is emerging, isn't it? Not so focused on living in the city center anymore.
I think you might be right. It's about different priorities now. People want more space, more comfort.
Makes sense. And this shift, you could really see it in those popular developments we talked about earlier. Cassia and Sora, both in the OCR, doing really well. What's the secret to their success?
Well, they seem to be hitting the sweet spot for a lot of buyers. They're in good locations, good transport links, and they've got a range of unit sizes to choose from, plus all the amenities you could want.
So basically, they're ticking all the boxes.
Pretty much. And with more new launches planned, especially in the OCR and RCR, this whole suburban trend, it doesn't look like it's slowing down anytime soon.
Oh, right. We had that list, didn't we? Emerald of Katong, Time Park, Nava Grove.
Yeah, those are just a few. Union Square Residences, Novo Place, a lot to look forward to.
So much choice. It's a good problem to have, I guess.
Huh.
But for a buyer, it must be a bit overwhelming. Where do you even start?
It's definitely a lot to take in. I think the first thing is to really think about what you need.
Your priorities.
Exactly. What are you looking for in a property? Space, convenience, investment potential. Once you know that, you can start researching different areas, different developments.
Look at things like location, amenities, transport, all of that.
Exactly. Don't just jump on the first thing that looks shiny. Think long term, make sure it fits with your goals and your lifestyle.
Very good advice. Now, we've been talking a lot about the OCR, but what about the CCR? Is it being totally left behind in all this?
Well, I wouldn't say that. The CCR still has its appeal, especially for a certain type of buyer.
People who want that prime city address.
Exactly. The prestige, the exclusivity. But like we said earlier, prices in the CCR are moderating. So if you're looking for value in that segment, now might be a good time to explore.
So it's not like one region is completely outshining the other. It's more about understanding the different dynamics of each area.
That's right. Finding what's right for you, for your budget, for your lifestyle.
And speaking of finding the right thing, another thing to consider is timing. I mean, we've got all these new launches coming up.
Yeah, lots of exciting stuff in the pipeline.
So if you're thinking about buying, do you wait for those new projects? Or are there good deals to be had in the existing market?
That's a tricky one. It really depends. If you're patient, those new launches might offer some great options.
Okay.
But there are also deals to be found in the resale market. You might have to look a bit harder, be a bit more flexible.
So it's a bit of a trade-off there.
Yeah, I think so. You have to weigh the potential benefits of the new launches against the possibilities in the resale market.
I guess that's where having a good real estate agent comes in handy.
Oh, absolutely. They can really help you navigate all of this, show you what's out there, help you understand the market, make sure you get the best deal.
Yeah, sometimes it helps to have an expert on your side, especially in a market like this. So much going on.
Exactly. They can guide you through the legal stuff, help you negotiate, make sure you're making a smart investment.
Right, because ultimately it's about making a sound investment. And that brings me to my last question. We've been talking a lot about the current market, what's happening right now. But what about the big picture? What are the things that will shape Singapore's housing market in the long term?
It's a tough one to predict, that's for sure. The market can be so unpredictable, right?
Yeah, it really is. Like trying to figure out the weather sometimes, so many factors involved.
Exactly. But I think there are definitely some trends we can look at, some indicators that give us a sense of where things might be heading.
Okay, like what? What are you seeing?
Well, we've been talking a lot about the OCR, and the question is this popularity just a phase, or is it a more permanent shift?
Right, is suburban living here to stay?
I think it probably is. It's not just about, you know, prices or convenience. It's a whole lifestyle change. People are prioritizing different things now.
More space, more of a community feel.
Yeah, and the acceptance of remote work. That plays a big role too. People aren't tied to the city center the way they used to be.
So you're thinking we might see Singapore's urban landscape change, the suburbs becoming more self-sufficient.
It's possible, yeah. As more people move to the suburbs, we could see more investment in infrastructure there, more amenities, more job opportunities.
Interesting. So it's not just about where people live, it's about how the whole city evolves.
Exactly. And then, of course, there's the technology factor. Technology is changing everything, including real estate.
Oh, definitely. Online platforms, virtual tours, all that stuff is already making a big impact.
Right. And it's only going to get more sophisticated. I mean, think about data analytics, AI, all the potential there.
Yeah, it's exciting to think about what's possible. But technology also comes with its own set of issues, right?
Oh, for sure. Data privacy, cybersecurity, the ethical implications of using AI, those are all things we have to be very careful about.
Right. It's not all sunshine and roses. We have to be aware of the potential downsides, too.
Yeah.
You know, all this talk about trends and opportunities, it's got me thinking, what does it all mean for the average Singaporean? How's this market actually impacting their lives?
That's a really important question to ask. At the end of the day, this isn't just about numbers, right? It's about people's homes, their dreams, their financial well-being.
Yeah, for some people, owning a home, it's a sign of success. For others, it's a source of stress, worry about being able to afford it.
Exactly. And that's something we have to be mindful of. How do we make sure the housing market works for everyone, not just a privileged few?
That's a big challenge.
It is. It's going to take careful planning, responsible development, and a real commitment to making housing accessible for everyone.
It's about more than just bricks and mortar, isn't it? It's about people's lives, their aspirations.
Absolutely. And I think that's something to keep in mind as we look to the future.
Well, I think that's a good place to wrap things up. We've covered a lot of ground today: sales trends, shifting preferences, the impact of technology.
It's been a fascinating deep dive, that's for sure.
And as always, we encourage you to keep learning, keep asking questions. The future of Singapore's housing market, it's not set in stone. It's going to be shaped by all of us, by the choices we make, the priorities we set.
Yeah.
Until next time, stay curious.